DEPHEMEREMBER day 14. I'm so happy you're still here. We're almost mid-month. It's absolutely incredible. I really hope you're having as much fun as Louisa and I are with our DEPHEMEREMBER series. I love seeing all your posts. You are making such incredible ephemera, and also your journals are amazing. Keep posting. Hashtag DEPHEMEREMBER. Today's paper bag is this one. This is definitely one of my favorite jelly plate prints that I've made. And our animal for today is this absolutely gorgeous peacock. And our snack is really bulky today. It's from South Korea, and I guess it's a peach soda pop. Actually, I don't know it's a soda pop. Maybe it's just peach juice. Cheers. Not carbonated. Tastes really a lot like peach. It's too sweet for my taste for drinks. I don't know if it's artificially flavored. I'm guessing. I can't read any of this beautiful Korean writing. I'm going to rate this a 6 out of 10. I do think the can is quite cute. Let's tackle prompt 14. So number 14, we have a pattern and a matchbook. There's a million things you can do for patterns. And a matchbook is a very cute piece of ephemera modeled after a real matchbook. So this is a vintage matchbook. It's from Odessa, Texas. This must be from when my family and I lived in the US when I was a child, and that would have been probably around 1977. So super cute to have that. This is one of the easiest pieces of ephemera you can make. All you need is a piece of cardstock, and then you fold it, you staple it, and usually it would have some sort of scraps inside. Super cute idea. I made a few in the past. Super simple ones using craft cardstock. And if you're as talented as me, you staple stamp scaps on it instead of scraps. And you do it multiple times because you don't realize it the first time that you're actually just writing scaps. So here I even lined it with some vintage paper, and I added some vintage scraps. So super fun idea. You can pull the scraps, use them in collaging. Very cute gift idea, happy mail idea. Here I stamped an image on the inside. So really not much to it. The issue I have with scrap books like this is that they are stiff and bulky. Both properties I do not want to have in my junk journal. So I want to make a matchbook out of a softer material. Let's move this out of the way. So I will try this beautiful handmade wrapping paper. It's beautiful. I bought this at my local craft store, Bösner, for anyone in the German-speaking world. This is quite soft, so we'll see if we can actually make this part here work on the bottom, because it needs to have a little bit of a stiffness for it to hold the upper flap. So we need to think about how to do that, but I definitely want something soft for my journal. And since I'm going to be adding some patterns inside, I also don't want my matchbook to be this small. I want it to have like proper size sheets that I can use for my collaging or backgrounds or whatever I want to do with them. So I'm going to make this a lot bigger. So let's see how big we can make this by checking our journal. Louise added this amazing peacock feather on one of the little pages. I'm assuming this is real. I'm not sure. It feels so soft. And it has such amazing colors. I would think it's real, but I'm really not sure. But unfortunately, the pages that are here will not work. Neither will this one or this one. So that's a shame because it would have been really nice to have it right here next to the peacock feather since we have the peacock as our animal today. So the closest page to the feather would be this one here. So I can check now how wide I want this to be. I want it to pretty much cover the page. So I can tear it here. And then I need to figure out how tall it needs to be. So I think I'll have to fold it up twice to have the stiffness that we need. So that will be down here. Actually, I think we need the flap to be a little wider. So we'll do the flap like this. And then the fold comes here. And it needs to come down over the flap. So tear it here. So I have my strip here, and now I'll fold this up twice, and then I'll fold this down, and that will be my matchbook. I won't staple it yet until I have my papers in here. Of course, I want to decorate this front flap to make it more interesting, and I'm going to take inspiration from the peacock feathers. So yesterday I really enjoyed how these came out. Obviously I don't want to do exactly the same thing, so I want to try another variation of this, but maybe we can manage to make them look a little bit more like peacock feathers. I don't know. I am going to use my feather stencil again. I currently don't remember where I have this from. If I can find it, I will definitely link this for you below. If you don't have one and you want to do what I'm doing now, I would suggest you hand sketch the outline of a feather. If you don't feel confident doing that, then I would suggest go to Google, search for feather silhouette or feather outline, then either just copy that by looking at it or print them out, cut them out, and then trace them. There are always workarounds. These tools just make life a bit easier. So I think I'll do this big one. So when we look at peacock feathers, the feature that stands out most, where we recognize that it's a peacock feather, is this eye, of course, in the feather. I'm not going to make an eye, but I want to make some other design in the feather so that it signifies that it is a peacock feather. I have no idea if I'm going to be successful. I have not tried it before. I took out some stencils that I thought I could use to make this eye-like thing. So I was thinking maybe like a cogwheel, or yeah, this is too big. One of these here, yep, they're also too big. I should have checked it before. This, of course, the center would be really nice. I think that's a really good option. Maybe even something like a star or a heart. I think both of those are good options. So I think I'll start off with making that round thing. It would, of course, be easier to put it on the bottom. Do we care that on the peacock feathers it's towards the top? But it should be on the top. Okay, we'll just go with that. So I will place that sort of here on the feather. And then I need to choose a color. How about peacock feathers? I think that might be a good idea. Again, you could do this with acrylic paints as well. So I'm going to do my best to stay inside this circle. So that looks pretty cool. We could go through another stencil and have the whole feather have the design of that stencil we choose. But I think if we do that, then this won't stand out. So for this feather, I think I'll keep the rest fairly simple. So I'll use my wild honey. And maybe start light here on the top. And kind of just go down and then do the shaft a little darker. And then what other color would look nice? Let's do the fossilized amber. think I want a little more variety on the edges. Let's be brave and add some Villainous Potion, a very strong color. I will be as light as I can. I just want it like on the tips. Doesn't look like a peacock feather, but it is interesting. We're just taking the inspiration from it. Then let's do a smaller one on that side. And for this one, I want a heart on the top. And let's do that in purple because I think that's a nice dark color. We should see that really well. Yes. And then what do we use? I do like the combination with the wild honey. I'll just do the bottom part with the wild honey and gradually have that go up on the sides. And then let's add some peacock feathers. Let's add a peak. It's not bad. I'm going to put this aside for now. I'm not sure yet if I will leave it like this or what I will add to it. I'll decide that later. In the meantime, let's think about what to add inside. Of course, we can just add collage photo that we already have or any kind of scraps, but we have the prompt pattern. So let's make some fun patterns and let's experiment a little bit. So what I have here is watercolor paper. This is, I believe, 200 GSM. And all I have done so far with it is coffee diet. No special recipe. You make it as dark as you like. I just use the cheapest instant coffee I can find, add some water, let it cool down. And then I put these inside a bath of my coffee for just a few minutes, like 1 or 2 minutes even just. And then I set these on newspaper and I took a sponge brush, something like this. And I then dipped this again in coffee and just went over it a couple more times so that it would get a little bit darker. What I wanted to try is some reverse coffee dyeing patterns. Never done them, but seems like a super fun idea to me. So what better time to try that than in DEPHEMEREMBER? So let's take one sheet. I'll add some kitchen towel underneath and I have another sheet ready to go. Let's start with the most simple thing you can do, just spraying some water. I don't think this will work well with copy paper, so keep that in mind. I think it needs to be either mixed media or watercolor paper to show nice results. I'll let this sit for like a couple of minutes. Okay, it's been just about 1 minute. I can't wait any longer. So I'm going to dab this off with my kitchen towel and hopefully it will be white where the water was. It's not intensive enough. Okay, so I can see it. I don't know if you can. I can see the splatters, but it's super faint. So I think I need to leave them on a bit longer. So I'm going to add a few more. And I'll let that sit for longer. And of course, your darker the coffee is, the more of a contrast you're going to have. So I'm going to set this aside and we'll look at it again later. For this next one, I want to try it with some lace. So I have lace here that I just put under my water faucet and then wrung it out a bit so that it's not dripping wet. And I'm just going to lay this down like this. Maybe add a book or something on top. And again, we'll let that do its thing and just sit. For our third experiment, I'm going to try some dry beans that I just have in water. I didn't soak them for long or anything. I just put them in water. And I'm just going to randomly put them there. For the next one, I want to try some letters. So I have these wooden letters. These came from Action. I still have my water here with the beans. So let's just put some of these in here. I don't want to spell anything in particular, although that would of course be a fun option as well. But I think I want to add them more randomly. So let's place them on here. I don't want them dripping wet because otherwise we won't see the outline of the letter. I'm so curious if this is going to work. I have no idea. Again, I think I'll put something heavy on top to make sure that they really sit well on the paper. Then I also want to try some yarn. This is eyelash trim that I have just dipped in water and squeezed it out. Maybe I'll add just a little bit of water to that. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Just to make it a little more wet. Maybe not a great idea. Then I want to try some soaked and crinkled paper. This is just regular copy paper. Then I have these die cut offcuts. So again, I'm going to soak them in water and then we'll place them on our paper. And for the last one, I'm going to try some bubble wrap. This is the one I usually use for jelly plate printing. So I'm going to spray that. Maybe some color will come off, although I don't think so because I think all of these are acrylics. Dry it a little bit. I don't want it soaking. Let some of the water drip off. And then let's place it over our paper. And again, I think I'll add a book on top of that. And then I'll let everything dry. It's a couple of hours later and I think they are as good as they're going to get. So let's see if we had any success with these. So this is our first pattern. This is the one with the splatters. Nothing spectacular, but definitely a cute background. Number 2, I have the one with the wooden letters. Also kind of cute. I don't know why it didn't work here as well. Apparently the letters weren't pressed down enough, but some of these here came out quite well. So that's a fun pattern. I'm very curious about this lace. The lace is still wet, so we'll see. Okay, that's our lace pattern. That is not a winner, I would say. Then we have this one with our die cut offcuts. This is really interesting. The black came off partially. Next, let's check this one with our beans. Also not spectacular, but kind of fun. Let's check the one with the crumpled paper. The paper is still very, very damp. Okay, that's pretty much a fail, I would say. Next, let's try the one with our eyelash yarn. Oh, this one actually looks good. Hey, we have a winner. This is cute. I like this. Lastly, let's check our bubble wrap. This one is very cute. I'm happy with this one. And because you guys are so awesome, I'm giving you these as freebies. So you can find that freebie linked below. I have printed them out as well. So this is what they look like as printouts. I'm sorry, the lighting isn't great here. These are printed just on regular copy paper. I think these printed versions are much easier to use because of the thinner paper. So you can find that freebie link below. There's 7 pages. And I've already torn down 4 of these to fit into my matchbook. I chose these 4. So here's our matchbook. We open it. And then I'll put them all the way to the bottom. And all we need to do is staple the bottom together. And I'm stamping fairly close to the bottom so that there's enough room here to stick the flap in. And it's pretty flat. So I'm happy with that, but I'm not happy with our image here yet. So I want to take some gold and I want to draw some more details of the feathers here. I think they just need a little more magic. I'm using watercolor from a tube. This is my Van Gogh watercolor 803 deep gold. Then I also want to cover this staple down here. So I can use one of these feathers that I cut out yesterday. And I can just add a little bit of gold there as well on the edges, for example. So there's my feather. I want to put that here, but it still looks a bit plain, so I want to add something underneath. And I just found this here laying on my desk from one of the other days. I think this fluff would be really cute underneath our feather. That's a good thing about leaving things on your table, that makes you use them. Yeah, oh, that's super cute. And I also have this still on my desk, so I think that will make a nice accent as well. It's so cute. And then I also want to add some black splatters for some more contrast. Time to add our booklet to our journal. And I'm very happy with how cute and magical this turned out. Definitely not your classic matchbook. So I'm going to attach it as a pocket, again, so that I have the possibility, if I want to, later to stick something in there. I'm assuming I won't want to because it will be too bulky, but you never know. So we can open it very easily. We have our patterned papers here. We can tear them out, use them in future projects, and we can close it, and it's not super thick, so that makes me super happy. I think for you this was a very quick one to watch. It wasn't so quick to do it because of all the drawing time. So pattern and matchbox done. Have fun creating your own patterns. Check out the freebie and let's see what Louise has done today. As a reminder, her playlist is linked below as well as mine is. So let's go check that out. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.